that sort of exposes you to a lot of outdoors and adventure sports. And pretty early on, I actually watched a lot of boxing matches, live boxing matches. And I was quite fascinated by the fact the two men were beating the crap out of each other, pardon me, and the spectators were actually quite enjoying when the two men bled. And there was something very interesting in that for me. So when I went to study film, I started following boxing matches in New York. I'd go for all the pro tournaments that were happening. I started going as a fan. And in the book, I have used boxing as a metaphor for hope and resurrection. Really, because it's, for me, life is like a boxing match. So that's Karan's worldview as far as the book is concerned. And I spent a lot of time talking to boxers, watching fights, going to matches. I met coaches, and given my interests in the outdoors and adventure, it only seemed natural that I'd set the story, a resurrection story in the world of boxing. But I don't know what the hullabaloo is all about, because let's face it, the greatest boxing story coming out of India is not a man, it's a woman. It's MC Mary Kom. So it is. So really, there you go.
No, it's difficult to make a, I mean, for me, I'm a failed novelist. I became a filmmaker because I couldn't be a novelist. It's too lonely, So but it's two different things. And you move from, in one you move from the abstract to the concrete, and the other you move from very concrete, because you need things to shoot, you need action. So I mean, for this kind of book, because it's it's action, it's got to do with a sport. It's the film would deal more with the external, and because you can shoot it very well in terms, and with that you can sort of in the nature of how you do it and the way you cut it, the way you shoot it, the way the actors perform, you'll be able to go into the interiority of their mind. Whereas in the book, you can do more the head space. It's like, that's why sometimes sorry, but I mean, for example, why is there not such a great sexual novel? Very different, because in the sense, when it's sorry, why is there not such a great sexual film? Because that's the thing that happens in the heads of the two people, and when it's just merely physical, it's like voyeurism. It's very difficult to avoid that in film. It takes a very great craftsman to be able to move past that. But in this kind of book, it's because it's about sport. I think the transmission can be far easier. And because it's that, I think it'll make a really good film. But she's got it in her head anyway, that in the sense that intrudes into her writing, that visual sense of description, the way the film moves, the novel moves. I think it's easily transforming. Some books can, some books can't. That the film is being made from Dancing with Demons, with Nidhi herself will direct. It'll be Mr. Arunoday Singh in the lead. And I'm really proud because these both of them worked with me. I don't have Nidhi in my probably, but my little boy there is. So that's, it really gives me great pleasure. And I think the producers are here. Now we want to take this forward, but it will, and I'll add my 2 bits whenever she wants.
Alright, and followed by the wonderful announcement, I now invite Nidhi to give Pratap Singh's boxing gloves to Arunoday. And I think we couldn't have started off on a better note. All the very best to you, Nidhi.
Alright. Excellent.
Alright, we now throw it open to the audience. If there's questions from the audience, members of the media, if questions, please do address them forward right away. We have photo ops since we're now going to do the official launch. Post which, if there are any questions, you can address them forward.
And voila.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dancing with Demons, Nidhi Sharma. Usually launching the book for our publishers of this book for giving us such a wonderful platform. Thank you very much, Mr. Sudhir Mishra, for gracing us with this occasion.
And when everybody's together, all the right, the creative talent, the actors, people who passionately believe in the story, then I think half your job is done. Then it's really a question of going on the floor and shooting the film. So for me, I think I'm very fortunate that all the right energies have come together for the film. The producers are in the room. Arunoday is here, Sir's here. I think everything's right, everything's perfect. I think we just need to go make the film now.
Well, and we can't end without asking Arunoday about his thoughts. I'm sure he's really looking forward to this journey, and if you can tell us a little bit about your association with the film.
I've been a fan of both Nidhi and her writing since we worked together on DSR's interview with Sudhir, and I've seen various incarnations of something that looked like this book, something that looked like something else, and I've been very keenly following her developing the project, and I couldn't believe that she wanted me to do it, because it's an amazing part, and yeah, I can knock people out, it's fun. But the kind of role, the kind of story that she's written is so full of depth and hope and redemption that I think it's got such a universal message that it'll be a joy to be a part of it. So I hope we get it together and get it done properly, worthy of her vision of it, and we will all try our very best to make sure we don't let her down.
Thank you very much. And we
Why? Yeah, why? You like looking mean. Excellent. Thank you. You happy with the glove? You have to wear them? Just hold it. That is correct. Yeah, when you wear them, and give me a deck. What? No? Right, hold on. I got it. That's the other arm. How are you writing a boxing film if you can't put on gloves? Rumble in the jungle. Rumble, young man, rumble. These are too small for you.